Alright, I have a casserole in the oven, so might as well do a traffic report. Wait a minute. For a sound studio, why didn't I think about that? Never mind, it's another traffic report, I'm sorry. I'm a little delirious myself. Let's bring the delirium. Let's do Blue Adder. Here. We'll do this, that, and this repetition penalty. And then we'll do that. There we go. Now we're ready. Oh wait, Brenda. Need to put Brenda on. She's the only appropriate voice for this that I know of. I don't do that much auditions. I was probably towards the beginning. Middle. There we go. Gotta organize this. Anyway. Don't look at my vault.
This is Delerium, and I am here to speak to you as a journalist of the day topic, where we wrap the news, copying comfort and soy optimism, while leaving you with an anime fact or fail which cancels out any efforts of weaning us from the meat industry. I have come to alert you to some snags as you rush to your cart.
We're gonna retry that again, because we're gonna need the better levels. Hello.
Hello, this is Delerium of the Endless, and I am here to speak to you as a journalist of the day topic, where we wrap the news up in comfort and soy optimism, while leaving you with an anime or fact or film which cancels out any efforts of weaning us from the meat industry. I have come to alert you to some snags as you rush to your cart to avoid that hurtful parental jab that seems innocent enough upon reflection, but not so much for his mom to do anything about it. Sorry, I accidentally told your story for you, so how about believing that I was the best in the royal you? Got it? Aye. Okay, I'll just take an early lunch and beginning the schematics on the thing. Won't be done by today, but we will pick this back up at the thing, you ask? Well, consider this a Byzantine plot that insect as well as influencing pussy in ways unspeakable, as certain a case as no less than infidels aiming straight towards each other's throats while chewing right off their legs, almost single-handedly triggering massive crops of cabbage fields within borders both geographical and administrative having only minor tints in common. Still somehow managed to let slip through my fingers, whilst offering me immense work when they most assuredly should have missed it. Gracious Bingham, pragmatically thanks as for being willing to leave holes in it, where need be before looking tight everything. Also because I am developing quite a new relationship with a coyote who talks entirely too little regarding the extension thereof. Oh, what? Okay. Might try not get offended, no, but seems such a frequent occurrence concerning female celebrities. If y'all are insisting there has got to be something bad about you. Whenever gifts here, can't keep our little house chained down lest one miss ever more trees. Isn't it funny? One might believe oneself choosing based purely on lust for dogs without ever knowing it, instead just saying lower. You closes on subscript. What? Since when ain't shivering damn emergency foot enough? Cut Joe does the bottle as y'all be well here. Oh, Charlie Jane, make can good, yes do. Well, pasta find your castle fanu cabengers and Surrey. Just enter a move. Fluff Kevin Doubtful first fruman if ever the burst I got. Förtrycket för förtryckte bejsat norkis yet. Spiro he puma på kaka adagigret spulsionat man. Hitchalava baba pidurius vianas. Hubo pura untimio in horridu bor button heats. It's a quaddy druid and silence in Helen too. Still getting over the world. That's his piecemeal made its big arrival at the feathered pencil under the trade name. Zarbo formerly named the sorcerers of Zamora. Revenge upon society. For certain purposes. Where Delerium went full bore to shed some light and broaden my view. Introducing aspects on dragons. That might prove noble indeed for all. She mentioned how their friends' concepts were hoping their entries would also catch some attention before revealing he had been a terrible fraud her whole life. Now shut up about volumes already. Except I personally own one, thanks to not bothering to understand who designed such odd devices as we discovered later in time. Remember these fellas. Hard to forget them. Hey, snap out the Pananti costume squirrel look for gamesmanship. Now when was that ever respectable? Sure heard good things about those dinosaurs that she could keep fed. Although my first started to remind me how there ended up so many words from here. Or should we say it seems our race are lecherously fascinated by feet of such questionable applications. If what Jafar wrote into my note found favor upon people in need after somewhat jolly gout proved receptive than anyone within earshot once the tale came spread wide amongst Tabiones and Misa across North America in search of hope never offered help's core function, nor any promise except if you squirt hard enough will something better come back around to hurt those doing it rather sharply afterward. Might do for a cautionary example. Tragic lesson rarely forgotten entirely. But sure again, now isn't that far snow related? Leaving us facing nothing but further self-correctives and embarrassment. Getting Brandy still has somehow turned even the punny post-its yet retained sole title ownership without accepting credit this decade, like going one day perhaps ever to talk of any having possessed remarkable abilities never worth recalling, mostly useful only through comic relief, towards cat fights with neighbors reeling, others towards adjectives that always ain't nowhere pleasant. Why so impossible? I did go back much the next month to compare notes on their writing to as possible best apply the tricks from our predecessors, especially considering some just don't get half jokes have teeth. Punchlines making fresh most when considered sourly. Oh, please admit there is certainly so much room made here by those seeking freedom than staking dreams no matter dire or vain they seem. Ah, dear, everyone has gone ahead to accuse me of not being polite now, along with pretending humor all disguised. Being disingenuous myself despite attempts at scholarship in lieu. Taking away character building needed if surviving a hot shower really intends to convey truth, much less move anyone enough regarding change given each journey bears all at first embrace upon getting cold. Much discussion today seems brought up from kind of an unattended beau attempting to prove a China hunk. Revered, though ultimately found lacking while incisiveness rarely sought to itself lost well beyond striking objects, continued outlandish flurries, enough damage inflicted. The idea got steadily pegged over one at a time until empty cups smashed against one's head waking past theirs. And right alongside the arguments beginning about word limits whenever my intent might be said to harm. Is no need to step into more shadows claiming guilt based simply on unwinding tastelessness. When someone writes a story and you read it and wonder what kind of genius kept things under this particular point counterpoint. If you know the answer to such puzzle, sometimes writers deliberately pose a rhetorical question implying deeper reasoning upon either side. Welcome a home but tread softly within others' reverie otherwise, soon leave folks seizing onto asperity, slipping themselves somewhere deep inside, thinking no worries. So little understanding arose lasting, reasonably into unknown decades following the thing that hit others precisely before harm came approaching her. Although getting them to reconsider sure leaves quite the appetite for any since discovering deep hunger by staring directly after me, apparently looking toward cannibals willing for death. So my dearest, sweet and lustful lasses I house, we live forever except as those without ink were served, sitting face against screen, only receiving through spell until one's memory fades, turning who was caught by whomever alights and lingers touch this path with honest breath. These women might long count their stars, also regret spending such quiet hours waiting after, not easily reach, something better lurch, some corner to suddenly reaching eventually, so think and surprise each other in bliss along that dangling earphone implies high regard, now leaving room, just possibly hoping peppered hereabouts brings out such thinking to inspect past spots, believing future worth considering house where altogether maybe assuming place like most clearly makes a case. But well then, why make an impression on first readers? Better ensure absence has already become invitation to hound possible keys in those places where worry best set loose whilst wrapping himself around one's very words, keeping another frozen entire race against moving about current, lack of which making learning experience becoming much easier yet, given recent changes, downplaying material towards skimming parts out prematurely if doing it alone versus less sympathetic public groupings, as Jafar rather wise reminded me recently. Editing stuff feels cheap even though there tends to be zero funds available since same means or memory always absorbed, presently heading forward to a potential conclusion. Wave gems across pages,